You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
you know what time it is. I'm raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. Yeah, you know what time it is. Come brawl with them boys of the fall. Covered in gray and scarlet, massive, stiff arms to your jaw. We breaking it. We sick of seeing you clowns with the crown. We taking it.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boyz, where we talk college football with real fans. I'm Mello. That's Tony. How you doing, Tony? What's up, Dev?
I'm chilling, man.
How you doing?
Chilling, buddy. How you doing?
I'm good. How was your day?
Better than the last few days, but it's been okay, man. It's been rough.
That's always good, man. Not for me. I'm just sitting here waiting for Dev to pull up on me, which should be in approximately 28 minutes.
Ooh.
So this is going to be when he gets here. If he fills 22 minutes, if he fills up to it, what I'm going to do is at in about 20 minutes I'll bring up Sean. Then I'll go off screen, go ahead and get him situated because I got him in his own bedroom over here. You know what I'm saying? Get him situated in his room, and then I'm gonna bring him up to my little office studio area, and then we'll hop back on so everybody can see me and Dev side by side. But then after that, we'll probably take off. You know, Scoop's at 7. He probably hungry. He's been on the road a lot the whole day. Hopefully he doesn't have a heavy foot anymore. But anyway, enough with that. So couple of days, we got a big game coming up. It starts with the Rose and it's in Pasadena. So how you feeling? Chat, how you guys feeling about this game? How you feeling about it, Tony?
I always get the most nervous about all these games. Like, I'm a little less nervous after seeing the Tennessee whooping that we handed out, but still, I mean, it's Oregon, whatever. But like the way I viewed it, like I heard the other day somebody say, like, you know, Oregon went through and they won the Big Ten, they beat Ohio State, and they won the Big Ten, all to get the first round bye to have to play the best team in America again. So, I'm not worried. Like, I'm worried, and I'll be less worried. Like, by the end of the first quarter of the Tennessee game, I was like, all right, I'm cool. This is fine. I think
so
this is
what's so nerve-wracking for you? RDB, everybody that's nervous, I want you to put in the chat what you're nervous about. Like, what about the game is making you nervous?
Like, I get nervous for almost every game, but the big games I get the most nervous because I'm a horrible winner, but I'm the worst loser. And I just don't like losing at all. And, just like everybody else, I'm super passionate about Ohio State. And so I just get so nervous about having to watch that and my heart sinking as we lose. And so it just, I know we have the talent and stuff or whatever, and this is the de facto national championship game. But man, the first Oregon game, I had a panic attack for 8 months about, dude.
So what do you Kevin Becker 55 said that they don't like the O-line versus their D-line matchup. I can understand why you would feel that way, but after the Tennessee game and watching how they performed there and watching how Chip schemed it up to protect the O-line with his play calling, I definitely feel good about our O-line. I think they'll do a good enough job. Now, the D-line that we're facing is pretty elite, but so was Tennessee's. Tennessee's was more deep. But with this D-line, the difference is they're big and they all pretty much have good footwork, but they have weaknesses as well. So, for instance, they're not very good on outside run. We cannot run up the middle like we did against the team up north. We should not do that. Now, we could do it at times, but it has to be set up properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Schematically. But you can't just do a 32 dive straight at the defensive tackle.
No stretch.
Their weaknesses in the run game is on the outside, the perimeters. You got to run that Mateo. You got to run that Jordan Birch. Other than that, I can understand why you would be a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
What about you? What do you think about their D-line?
I agree. I think their D-line's super elite. But I think, like you said, Chip Kelly, the way he's calling plays now to suit what we have, our patchwork offensive line. He's calling plays that suit their strengths, not trying to do something that's going to go against them, expect them to do something they're not good at. He's calling plays to what their strengths are. And I think we're used to it. We have seen Oregon once now, which I think is an advantage because Derek Harmon's not a surprise now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're very well prepared. And I think as long as we call plays suited to that, like, and we're not running stretch plays 14 times in a row, like, I think we'll be all right. Because Tennessee's line was, I think, just as good. So
my thing about Derek Harmon, he's very good. He was very good at Michigan State, but we played him last year. They should, especially Carson and Donnie, but not so much this game because Donnie moved outside. But Carson should know how to deal with him. You know what I mean? Like, you dealt with him last year, so I'm expecting a better performance from the O-line again.
I agree.
Is a monster. So I think our O-line is going to be all right. I think, to be honest, I feel like Oregon's defense is just overrated. I'm just straight up tell you the truth. Now, I know they're not going to play us like Tennessee did. They're not going to man up. They might man up every once in a while. They might have one corner or two corners out of their whole defensive line that's in man, and then the rest will play like a zone type of coverage. I'm expecting too high pretty much all times because they're going to want to keep everything in front. So we got to hit those underneath routes, and hopefully we could hit a lot of mesh concepts or hitch and just get a whole lot of extra yards after that and just drive the ball. And once we pull the box out because they're trying to stop the passing game, that's when we start hitting them with the run game. And, you know, Chip is really good with showing the same eye candy over and over and going from one pass play to a run play.
Yep. Hitting them with that speed option is going to be good.
Shout out Sean Rollins, gifting the membership, man. Sean, you are the man. You really are. I can't wait to meet you.
He's the real hero right here.
Yeah, he's awesome. So what do you think about our offensive game plan?
I think, I think they'll definitely be prepared for what we did against Tennessee. But I think, like, you know, like in the Michigan game, they ran that speed option play one time, whatever, and it's like 20 yards almost, and then they never went back to it ever again. Like, I think they just need to find out what works and work it until it doesn't, and then by that time you can go to something else and go over the top, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they can't double everybody all the time. Like you said, if we run mesh concepts and stuff or whatever. Like, if we get a little bit of space out there, you know what I'm saying? Even screen passes, you get them attacking and just dunk it over the top of them, you know what I'm saying? I think once we get a little space, especially with Trey's 1 second from breaking it every time. So I think that's all we need to do is a little bit of green and we're gone.
So one thing, I remember the Penn State game. You remember they ran that speed option like twice?
Yeah.
And then the third time, they ran it twice, and then one of the times they hit BI across the middle, and he had his first touchdown of the season.
Yeah. The throwback thing, right?
Yeah, I remember I was killing them about running the speed option twice because the second time it got stuffed, because it was so obvious. But I think that speed option is going to work wonders this game. You're going to have to pick your poison, you know? And I want to see a lot of RPOs this game. And just trust Will. Trust Will, and let's do our thing. Now, my biggest concern is defensively. I think the key to the game, last game in Tennessee, I said the key to the game was the O-line against their D-line. For me, the key to this game is our D-line versus their O-line. We need to get pressure on Dylan Gabriel, and we need to keep him contained for the most part. And if he decides to run, we need to treat him like Nico, light his you-know-what up. Like, light him up like a Christmas tree. It is Christmas Day, so why not?
Right.
Wow. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I agree. Like, I think literally if we just, like you said, we need to get pressure on Dylan Gabriel. That's the most important part. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is where, we have to succeed this time and not fail, because if literally we fail there, like, it's going to be, we're going to repeat the same process over and over again. So I think that's the most important part. Like, if we don't get pressure, we're going to fail.
Yep. I think this is a great point, Mika. Mika says Will Howard will have to run more against Oregon. And I agree. I want him to look like he did against Tennessee because he looked fast. He didn't hesitate. He was hitting the seams and going. So I feel like our DB is going to play way better. I think what's going to happen is they're going to keep everything in front of them. And the reason I say that is not because I'm some wizard and I could just think ahead and I'm a prophet, is because that's what was said by David IGB and by Denzel Burke today when they were interviewed, that they're going to keep everything in front of them, unlike last time. And they said the biggest change, like we know schematically they changed a little bit, but they said the biggest change in the defense from October 12th to now is that the play calling is getting in faster so they could get lined up quicker. And if you look at the last Oregon game, they weren't lined up. They weren't getting lined up quicker. And they're used to the tempo now because they prepared for it for 3 weeks against Tennessee. So I don't think they're going to get us with tempo. They're going to have to earn everything in this game if they want to beat us. So that's what makes me feel more confident, because I feel like in terms of who's going to be more solid in terms of keep completing a drive and finishing a drive, I think that advantages us, especially in 71-degree weather. Look how Will flung that ball around last game. What was it? 18 real fill, 17 real fill, and he was chucking it like he was in Miami. So I think right now Will Howard plays to that level. This team is pretty much unbeatable. And we need the O-line to just step up. Just give Will 3 to 4 seconds so the wide receivers can create that separation.
Yeah, I agree. I think we go as Will Howard goes at this point, especially all the way through the playoffs. That's the key, is Will Howard continues to do what he did in the Tennessee game. He's getting, 80%, all that stuff.
So Ryan Day Beard, I don't think Denzel Burke will get burned again. But let's just hypothetically say he does. They need to rotate out and get him out of there at times if that happens. So my thing is, Coach Knowles already said that they're going to be rotating Jermaine Matthews a lot and into this game. And now that leads me to my next thought. Rotation is very key. So we saw last game, especially talking to Dev while he was there. I was texting him throughout the game. The defensive line was exhausted during that game. They played so many snaps, right?
Right.
So the rotation is going to be key to keep them fresh by the fourth quarter and not let them get gashed. Same thing that happened with the Team Up North game. They played entirely way too many snaps. Like Dev said, if we keep them around 40 snaps, 45 max, that's ideal for the starting line. And I'm going to be paying attention to that when I go to the game. How the rotation is looking, if they're using it or if they're not.
Yeah, I agree.
Oregon's D Frosty Mug. I'm assuming that you're probably a Oregon fan. Oregon's defensive front will be a problem for OSU's O-line, and Howard will be more likely to throw picks under pressure. I can understand why you would say that, but what I think is more than likely is that Howard's just going to take off and run if he's under pressure. So we'll see. And also, I think Chip's going to game plan for that D line. He's going to get the ball out quick. He's going to move the pocket. He's going to get Will out of the pocket. So, we'll see how that works.
Yeah, I think Will Howard got his bad game out of his system this year. And I think that wasn't even a bad game. It was literally that the game plan was so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know what they were doing or why they did what they did, but we've moved on from that, I guess. And I think as long as you let Will Howard do what he does, like let him loose and like he did in the Tennessee game. I mean, cold weather against a good team in the playoffs, he's throwing for 80%. He looked amazing. His deep balls were so good. Like I have no doubt in Will Howard's ability, as long as he's not, the game plan doesn't hinder him.
So Ken Taco is saying that there's a nasty rumor floating out that Tate is not playing. I have not heard that.
I've not heard that either. And
I saw Tate. I was watching all the interviews. I saw him walking around at the press conference. So I don't know about that. But now we got a special guest joining us. Everybody, I want you to say hi to your friend and my brother, Sean Schrock. What's up, Sean?
What's going on, guys?
What's up,
How
buddy?
you doing, bro?
Doing great. Anytime I get to spend with you guys and this wonderful chat, it was a great day.
Yes, sir. So
You guys ready for 2 days away, man?
So we've been talking about like what we're expecting to see and what we think some of the keys to the game are. And what are you expecting to see? And what do you think the key for the Buckeyes to come out victorious on Wednesday?
I'm expecting the team to come out like they did against Tennessee, mad, on it, playing with an edge, playing a little pissed off. Excuse the language on here, but that's what I'm expecting. I mean, they're tired of hearing all the talk after that Michigan game, and everybody said they weren't for real, and that they won't beat Oregon, they won't beat Tennessee, that they're a fraud. And I mean, honestly, I think the Michigan game could have been a good thing to wake these boys up and tick them off.
Well, you think you were at the Team Up North game, so that's a good transition I want to get to. So do you think the players were sleepwalking, or do you think it was mostly the coaches that needed to be woken up? Because when you're saying, from my perspective, right, when you're saying to wake these boys up, I'm thinking wake Ryan, Coach Day, and Chip up, but mainly Coach Day in terms of
exactly, man. Those kids came out quite hard.
I feel like the players ball every game. They play their hardest. You only can do so much in terms of what the play caller is calling. So I think the game plan was pretty bad, and I think that was the wake-up call they needed. Just like the October 12th game, the defensive game plan was terrible, and that was the wake-up call that they needed. And now we have the number one defense in the country. So my question to you is, you being at the game, do you think it was a lack of effort and execution from the players, or would you say it was mostly the coaching staff? Like, I'm just watching the TV copy. So what is your take?
It was definitely the coaches. Them kids came out and played hard. The coaches didn't put them kids in the best spot for them to be successful. I think Ryan Day's, whether it's his ego or it's so in his head that he can't stand people calling him soft, he tried to prove a point that, we're as tough as you guys. We're not a soft team. We'll show you. We'll run it down your throat. Well, you know what? You didn't have the dogs to do it. Your offensive line is not set up that way with Simmons and McLaughlin being out. So they definitely weren't put in the best position to win, but those kids did play their hearts out, man. They left it on the field.
Yeah, and not for nothing. I know we hate the Team Up North, but like, we have to be honest, man. Mason Graham is generational D tackle for them. He might be the best defensive tackle that's ever come through that team. So, I mean, imagine someone trying to run at the Bosa brothers all game. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. So, I mean, that's where I'm at with it. Or Cam Hayward, who's going to do that in their right mind and just keep doing it over and over? And I know, like, the numbers say we didn't run it straight at them, but when you run the ball 19 up the middle and you get, 18 yards, or you run it 18 and get 19 yards, like, come on, man, that's way too many. Like, that's 19 wasted or 18 wasted attempts. So that's why when people were saying, like, you're running it straight at them the whole game, that's why you wasted 18 attempts that you could have been doing something else.
It just was crazy, man, because it seemed like that interception that Downs got was inside the red zone. And they ran a tight end screen, I think it was. Then they ran it twice, basically up the middle. It was like he was playing for that field goal. I mean, you're inside the red zone. Take a shot at the end zone with JJ. The 2 other times you took shots, you got pass interference, man. So it made no sense to me, man.
Oh, that's another thing I got to bring up. And I want Tony, I want your opinion on this. So I've been going around just, hopping in little different Oregon fan channels and stuff just to see what their thoughts on the game. Yeah. And today I ran on, I'm not going to say any names, but it was a Locked On channel. And the guy was like, he played the JJ Optimus Prime clip when he was talking about the OPI. And he's he laughed at him. He was like, you're not thinking about it, but you said you think about it every day. Of course, he's a competitor. He's elite. Of course, he's going to think about it. Obviously, you don't know because you never played sports before. But every athlete that had a bad experience or a bad game, it stays in your mind until the next time you either play that team or you rectify it, And then he said, because how Optimus Prime was talking about he was getting held or whatever. This dude literally took it literal about that. about that exact play when he was saying that he was getting his hands off him. And he said, if you look, it was clear OPI. This is what the locked on guy said. And he said it was clear OPI, and Nico was sitting 9 yards deep, and he just ran into him and threw him off, and then to create separation. So I'm like, no, I went and looked it up. First off, he was not 9 yards deep. He was 4 yards deep, and he came up and he initiated the contact.
Right.
And JJ threw his hands off of him within the first 5 yards. It isn't his fault. He's 225 pounds, and he built like a brick house. Yeah. And Nico went flying because he's a skinny little girl. And it was a terrible call. I'm going to stand on it. A lot of people, big time people, agree with that sentiment. Joe Klatt said the same thing. It was a terrible call, and it will never be called again. I can guarantee you that. Nobody's going to call that again. So, like, I'm seeing that narrative. What do you guys feel about that narrative of them trying to say, oh, it was OPI, Tony?
Man, that happens all the time in like so many plays in college football, and it never gets called like that, especially in big moments like that. You know what I'm saying? And the officiating for the last couple of years, I think, has been a bit crazy. Like I heard a stat the other day, Jack Sawyer hasn't had a holding call against him, hasn't been held in 50 games. 50.
Since his freshman year. I watched a dude in Tennessee grab him around his neck, and he still made the sack. No flag.
Like, so the JJ thing, especially at that moment in the game when we're driving, like we're in onset, we're gonna probably win the game. To call that, I think, is a bit egregious, and I don't think it was. I thought the same thing. I thought then that I think now. Like it was ridiculous, and the officiating has been so subpar at this point. I think it's going to be different because it's the Rose Bowl, and I think it's been made light in the playoffs. They let them play at Tennessee, or when Tennessee came. You know what I'm saying? They really let them play. And, at this point, people have just figured out they just have to tackle JJ to let him not catch the ball and run off on him. So I think that'll probably happen.
Hold on. This is my guy.
Uh-oh. What do you think about it, Sean?
I think it was a crap call. I mean, if it's egregious and you can see a major push off, that's when it gets called. Or a lot of times OPI gets called when there's a pick.
Hey, I'll be right back. You guys continue. Hold it down.
Got you.
Usually, when it's a pick play or a rub play, that's when they usually call the OPI. But, I mean, you don't make that call with under a minute left in a big game like that. You swallow the whistle, man. I mean, that was just garbage. Of course, they're going to stand on it because, it helped win them the game. Of course, they're not going to complain about it.
Yeah, I agree. So Frosty Mug here says Oregon has the best edge rushers in the Big Ten, and all will be playing the game this time. So look, I get that, but like we heard the same thing about Tennessee's line and how it would not match up with our O line. And I personally seem to think like if the scheme is there and Chip calls plays to their strengths, like we can have success. But that's just what I think. And I'm only basing that on one game essentially. But as long as the game plan is there, our O-line can hold up. You know what I'm saying? Because, James Pierce was a serious edge rusher too, and we shut him down. So, like, and we've been up against Abdul Carter this year. He had a little bit of success, but, like, he didn't kill us. So, like, I think it can be done. We just have to, especially we got, Donnie Jackson on the outside now, and I think we're going to be okay. Like, I think we're going to be okay because we heard so much about that offensive defensive line battle in Tennessee, and we saw how it played out. So, like, what do you think, Sean?
Well, if you look, they're going to give Donnie help. I mean, they did it against Abdul Carter, and the only time he burned him once when it was one-on-one. But, I get they got two good edge rushers, but Birch has been hurt all year, and he's only played one game, so how in shape is he really going to be? I mean, how many plays can he give you? I mean, it takes a while to get it, into football shape again. So, I mean, you can run all the sprints you want, but if your body's not taking the hits and you're not conditioned to it, I mean, how effective is he going to be? Now, could he come out and have a great game? Yeah, he could. But I think we will scheme around it, and we will send either a back or we'll have another tight end, and we will, chip away. There's no way, Tyler, that we're losing 42-17. Whoever said that, smoking crack.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Unless someone, unless there's some major injuries or something. That's the only way I can see that ever happening.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a close game, personally.
Yeah, no, I agree too. I think Oregon's defense is a bit overrated. We played well against them last time. You know what I'm saying? Granted, it was a shootout, but like, oh no, wait. That's bananas, kid. Bananas. Anyway, like, I saw Oregon play Penn State in the Big Ten championship, and Penn State looked like the better team. So, like, and we smacked around Penn State going away. So, like, I'm not buying it. Now, listen, if I'm wrong, I'll come in here and admit I'm wrong. But that is nonsense.
Well, I think we're finally Chip knows the offensive personnel good enough now to know what their strengths are and what he can and can't call. The first time we played Oregon was the fourth game of the year. So it was still kind of getting to know you. This time now he knows his players. He knows what strengths they have and what they'll do. Oh my Lord.
A wild Devin
Look
appeared.
who it is. Look who I found.
Bang, bang.
What up?
What up, homie?
Yo, this dude, I told him he got to get off the steroids. He's freaking huge.
Roided
Dude,
out.
look at those,
Whoa, bro.
dude, look at those guns, man. I didn't know we didn't buy a ticket for the gun show, Devin. Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
hey man, it's extra for that. I better see them super chats, dude. If you want to see them,
Yeah. Let's super chat. Devin's gonna take off his shirt. We get enough super chats.
He takes his shirt off for money.
Right. Bang. Devin's returning
Hey,
into a
I'll tell
stripper
you what's
today.
wild, guys, is like when you've been on you've seen somebody over a screen and chat so much, and you actually meet them, dude. This is wild. Seeing I've known Mello for I feel like forever now. It's just different, dude. Seeing him.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree.
I thought he was way shorter. He's not short. He's tall. Mello's tall. Just like
Probably uglier in person too, right? Probably
Yeah, we're
pretty
all-
scary looking.
Man, hold up. Who put that score prediction up there? He's
But
out of
I
his
wanted to leave
mind.
that up there. I just wanted to leave that there for you to come back to.
God,
Uh,
dude.
Yeah,
I
we've already-
don't think Oregon even hits 30.
Nah, it's not a shootout. Like
Not
I
on
was
this
talking.
defense.
Do your thing. I'm just gonna chill.
35-21 or 35-17, man.
We're kind of letting Devin just relax. You know what I mean? He just took a long drive here.
Yeah. That last.
That's cool.
Buck
Like,
Vader said, how's it going?
What
So
up, baby?
is Devin the only short one out of us then? Because me and Sean are 6'6".
Devin ain't that short, bro.
I mean, is he 6'6" though?
No, nobody's 6'6".
I can't judge his height. Like either he's
about
5'4"
6 feet.
or he's like 6 foot.
He's about 6 foot. How tall
That
are
sounds
you,
about right.
Tony?
Oh man. Yeah.
It depends if he's
But what were
wearing
y'all
heels or
talking
not.
about while I was gone?
We were talking about the Oregon fan score thing because I just thought it was ridiculous. And like, we saw him play against Penn State. I think Penn State looked like the better team in the Big Ten championship. Like they said same fan said something about they've got the best pass rushers or edge rushers in the Big Ten.
Who does?
Oregon, that's
Oregon
what he
does.
claimed.
No,
They
they
have
don't.
the best pass rushers in the Big Ten. And I told him, like, we heard that same thing about Tennessee and you saw what happened. So like, I'm not sold on that whole theory that like, just because they're the best in the Big Ten, like James Pierce was supposed to be the best in the country. So
Hey, I
Here's
want to
the-
get your guys' opinion on all these Oregon fans. You guys have heard about how they had the flu
I haven't even heard that till just now.
in the Big Ten game, dude. I'm so sick of it. Last time we played them, I think our offense had COVID and our defense had the stomach bug. That's what I'm gonna start saying. So spread that around.
Right.
They had the flu during the
it's like
Big
they got
Ten.
hand, mouth, and foot again, like they did in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never know if we say something like that. Oh, Ohio State's making excuses. That's an excuse. Everything's an excuse. We always make excuses. They claim. Well, you know what? They might have been sick, but you know what? They still played the game. So
Somebody already said in the chat, Jordan Burke's fighting the flu. Like, oh come on,
Who
really?
said that?
It's that Oregon fan guy, I think.
Well, that's his problem. What's that got to do with us? I don't care. I hope he does have the flu.
no one cried when we had to play
I
a
don't feel
national
bad for him.
championship.
I don't feel bad for him. Flu, no flu, same result. BTA.
Listen, if you're great, it doesn't matter if you have the flu or not. I watched Michael Jordan get the flu or food poisoning or whatever and show up and score 50. So I don't want to hear it.
And hit the game winner.
Yeah, if you're great at that point.
Oh, because he pushed up.
On
Oh, here we go.
way to save legs for the
Yeah,
playoff.
yeah.
He doubled down on it.
I know. I believe it. So how do you guys Devin wanted me to ask you guys, I'm sure you heard it. He said Coach Day doubled down on slowing the pace down throughout the season so that way they would have fresher legs for the playoff run. And that's something they learned from the NFL, their NFL experience. Do you guys believe that there's any truth to that?
Well, look how fresh Travian is now, man. I know it helps having Quinshawn, but a lot of our guys look good. I mean, they look regenerate. I mean, you beat Tennessee, you're going to get regenerized, but I think we haven't had as many injuries as we did last year. I mean, besides our 2 freak injuries with our linemen, but for the most part, we've been healthy. So, I mean, I think it's working.
What about you, Tony? You think there's truth to that? That that was their intention, or you think he's just saying it because it's convenient?
No, I mean, I think, dude, Ryan Day, I think, is trying to like think smarter, not harder at this point. And like, if you look at the play call counts, like the average play call counts over the last couple of years, they've slowly been slowing down. And this year, like when they thought, everybody thought they was going to come out guns blazing, they didn't, because they knew you could have 3 extra games, 4 extra games this year. You know what I'm saying? And like, so like, it doesn't matter that we're guns are blazing against Eastern Michigan. It's where it matters that we catch hot now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like literally, I think so. I believe it. And I think it makes sense in hindsight. Like, I mean, hearing it at first, it's kind of like, oh, dude, listen, you have a B8. Why are we not opening it up?
Man, Troy is hilarious.
Troy, my dude.
Yeah, the reason I believe there's truth to it is because if you look over the seasons with Day, he was a fast-paced guy. You know what I mean? And so was Chip. So it was pretty obvious. And everybody's like, why is it going so slow? We thought it was going to be faster. And now it makes sense. But it also made some of these games a little bit harder than they needed to be. But as long as the end goal is still the same and it's still attainable and we achieve it, who cares? So that's where I'm at with it. And somebody's starting a rumor that they had the flu again. Did you guys hear that?
I haven't. I don't care if they do or not. I mean,
okay.
I'm not cool. I'm not in the cool kids gossip circles. I'm not allowed in. So
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
So have you guys done your score prediction?
Yeah, I think so. Wait, no, have we done? No, we haven't.
Yeah,
we did the other day.
Well, before we get there, I need
did
everybody to pick at least one offensive MVP, one defensive MVP. It could be any team. And the same with the chat. Throw out your offensive MVPs and your defensive player of the games. So, Tony, go first. We'll start with offense.
Offense, I think offensive player of the game, MVP, I think it's going to be Will Howard. I think he shows up, shows out, hits his 80% mark, and he's out the door. I think, man, it's so hard defense. You know what?
We'll come back to defense.
Okay.
Your offensive MVP.
I was going to take Will Howard, but since he took him, I will say Carnell Tate. I think this is his game, man.
Interesting. So since he took Will Howard, because that's who I was going to take as well, I'm taking Optimus. I don't care.
I was going to say, there's no other choice for him.
I'm taking Optimus regardless. Who you taking, Jeff?
I see in the chat people were picking the same. I'm going to go with Trey Henderson, man. My first one would have been the obvious. We hope Will Howard is, obviously. You know what I mean? But I think Travion Henderson, dude, because of Mello brought it up earlier about how their defensive line really struggles with the edge. Mm-hmm. And we know that Travion Henderson is the back for the edge. I mean, Quinshawn's numbers per carry are way down because of the changes in our offensive line. So if we're going to scheme up a rushing attack this game, it's going to be on the edge and it's going to be Travion Henderson. So also watch out for him in the passing game as well. So
that's a good point because Oregon's going to be playing that zone coverage in the back. So all that underneath stuff's going to be wide open. So look for a lot of dunk passes to Trey out of the backfield. So that's a good point, Dev.
So I'm going to start off with the defense, and we'll just go in reverse order. I'm going to take Denzel Burke. The reason I'm going to take Denzel is because I think Evan Stewart and whoever else, they're going to think that they could cook him again. I think they're going to take shots at him, and I think he's going to get an interception. personally, and I think he's going to show up and show out. What about you?
I'm going back to the same defensive MVP I picked last time for the Oregon game. It didn't quite work out like I thought.
Was it Tyreek?
But the same player that I picked to be the MVP of the whole entire team at the beginning of the year was Tyreek Williams.
Yeah.
I believe that he has been injured a lot of this season, wore out a lot of this season because of, just think about it. When you're 340 pounds and you play 53 snaps just in one game, you're not a 180-pound receiver and can just kick back just like that. It's going to take – you got more body to recover. It's going to take him way longer to recover. So I think that's one area where Ohio State really messed up, and that's gassing him out in that first Oregon game, then doing it again in several other games, Nebraska, and then doing it again in the scum game, right? And then he had that huge break, that huge long break, and look how he played against Tennessee. He played like a freaking animal. You know what I'm saying? So now he's had another 10-day rest, longer than normal. So I think he's going to show up and show out, dude. He's an animal. He's projected to be the number 2 defensive tackle off the board.
Yeah, I saw that. To Buffalo, right?
There's several different ones, but that's the one I saw. But yeah, Tyreek Williams, I would love to see him just absolutely crash people. But it's unless you're watching a defensive tackle during the game, you're not going to pick them as your defensive MVP. So I'll be watching him.
What about you, Shore?
Just point on what Devin had to say. If you look in that scum game, Tyreek was playing. I mean, if you look at him, he has hands on his hips. He was bent over for most of that game, sucking wind. And they were playing him way too much. So good point, Dev. I'm going to go with Sonny Styles. I think he's going to shout. I think he's just going to destroy people. There was once or twice that he could have had Gabriel the first time, and he missed. This time he doesn't miss, man. He's going to come through. He's going to destroy him.
What about you, Tone?
I'm going to go with Jack Sawyer. I think he's, ever since the flag planting thing, he's been playing possessed, and, I think he's really mad, and I think he's going to show up and really, really put it to him, and he's going to be the one that puts Dylan Gabriel on his back.
I got 2 honorable mentions.
Okay.
I know I'm sneaking this. I got 2, not 1.
Of course.
So my honorable mention is JT. The reason being because last game they ran at JT the most. They ran away from Jack Sawyer, making Jack Sawyer the contain guy. And I think JT is going to have a big game. My other one is the obvious, Caleb Downs, the other alien on defense.
Of course.
He covers up a lot of things. He hits hard. He's going to come in the box and blitz. He's going to be responsible probably mostly for the tight end again. So I want to see how they're going to contain Dylan Gabriel. I think it's going to be interesting to see that matchup.
That's what I was going to ask you. Who do you think you'll have?
I have an honorable mention too, so go ahead.
Hey, can y'all hear me good from back here, by the way?
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
Okay. My first, Cody Simon. I honestly believe we might have a little bit of trouble getting pressure with 4 down linemen. So I think you're going to see sometime during this game some of those Indiana blitz packages where Cody Simon comes flying in. I think we might see that a little bit, just depending on how much we can generate with 4 down linemen. And then number 2, this is going to surprise a lot of people, but watch out for Will Kazmarek, man. That dude's back. And Oregon is going to be hyper-focused on our wide receivers. They will be hyper-focused on them. And I think watch out for Will Kazmarek. Remember the first game, he got injured on that long pass attempt. He was targeted 3 times before he got injured. So there was something in Oregon's defensive scheme where they saw that they could take advantage with Will Kazmarek. So might happen this game. We'll see.
Yep. My honorable mention, I think, he's kind of been a forgotten man. But I think they might test him, given if Burke and Iggy show up. It's Jordan Hancock.
That's a good one.
My honorable mention is Lathan Ransom. Him and Caleb always come down and clean a lot of stuff up, and he will be active. And I think he might even be the one that they have him spy on Gabriel with.
Who?
Lathan Ransom.
Okay. That's a good one. So who's your honorable mention?
Iggy. No, no PIs, like B. Moses would say. No PIs.
Man, I'm just joking, man. So let me get your score predictions.
I'm going to go 38-17. That's what I went on when we made our prediction when we picked the whole playoffs the other day. I'm going 38-17.
In favor of, you got to make
Ohio
that
State. Sean's the only person that picks Oregon. No,
man, I know better. Sean better not. I'll boot him off the chat. What's your score prediction, Sean?
35-21, Ohio State.
Okay. I got it 42-24 Buckeyes over the Quacks.
38-24.
He's got it 38-24. So whoever else dropped 38-24 in the chat, yours who?
Well, I think the Oregon fan dropped it in favor of Oregon.
No, it was Frosty Mug, but he did a reverse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He dropped it in favor of Oregon. So
man, he's smoking crack.
That was
somebody picked 38-24. Tyra.
Oh, that's TG.
Okay,
yeah.
Good to see you in your TG.
I see Tyler got 42-17. Mega gas 41-24. Bucks win. 34-24 Bucks. Yeah, throw that up there. Shout out to Mark for the $50 holla for the calls. Keep up the good work, guys. We appreciate you, Mark. Man, you're always in here doing your thing. I might have to talk to Devin about getting you a wrench at this point.
Yeah, listen, his shirt's on the way too, buddy. So it's in the mail. It's coming to you.
He threw up 100 last night, so thanks again, Mark.
Good.
34-21, 38-16. That's going to be hard to keep them 16. I'm going to be honest with you. But if we do that, if they only score 16, it's a wrap.
Yeah, for sure.
Karras, look at Karras's.
He prices right to you.
He got 42.7 bucks.
Steely did that to me the other day. He picked 39-17. Like, did you just prices right me? What the hell?
Frosty Mug. OSU has a great team, but without 3 O linemen, they won't beat the Ducks. Quack, quack. Man, that's all I got to say. Quack.
But you guys got the flu.
Yeah, you guys got the flu. We're not worried. We watched what you guys did to that Penn State O line. Nothing.
Yeah.
28-17.
Now, Mello, I got a question for you guys.
42-24. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to happen, TG. What's up?
Who do you think they're going to use to spy Gabriel?
If they spy him,
please not JT.
No, it's not going to be a D lineman. If they spy him, I think it's going to be Sonny.
Yeah, they might switch it up though. Like literally,
it might be Cody.
They've been dropping a bunch of linemen back in coverage. You know what I'm saying? Like they might switch it up sometimes. Might end up being Jack or something crazy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Sonny or Cody.
Probably.
The only reason I initially said Sonny because he's a freak show athletically, and if he keeps hitting DG, he's not going to want any more problems. And Cody, the reason I was going with him is because he's a better open field tackler. But Caleb Downs is our best open field tackler. So
like
do
Caleb
you bring
crack him one time?
So this is my thing. I think you're going to see a mixture. I don't think it's just going to be one player that spies him the whole time. I can see both linebackers spying him at some point, and either both safeties, because Ransom could come down and smoke you, and Caleb Downs our best open field tackler, period. So I could see between those four rotating at different times. And plus, they could run that 3 safety high look with their safeties, and they could drop one in just for DG. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see, to say the least, you know.
Well, last game they used JTT, and he got burnt by Nico in the open field. So hopefully, if they use Sonny, like you said, or Ransom, or you want to be careful using Downs because he's so valuable. But a good mixing it up, throw him off would be good too. So
because you can go to a 3 high look and roll the coverage and have Caleb Down come down. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you still will have 2 safeties high to protect from the long ball. So, and I'm not worried about Caleb Downs getting hurt, hitting DG. It's going to sound like a missile. he's a heat-seeking missile. I'm worried. I'll be more worried about DG. And I know Dan Lanning is going to throw caution to the wind. He's going to bring everything out that he can. He's not going to worry about if DG gets hurt. But if DG gets hurt, I mean, their chances are pretty much done.
Yeah,
I mean, you got Dante Moore, but he doesn't have that experience. He throws a beautiful ball. I think his upside compared to Dylan Gabriel is tremendous, but he's not ready. He's not ready yet.
Hey, you know how I always have my feelings?
Yeah.
And some of them come true. On the drive here, I had a really strong feeling that Gabriel does, and I hate this. I'm not speaking this. I don't want this to happen. I don't want Dylan Gabriel to get injured. I want him to play the entire game, and I want to beat his butt, right? But I don't think he makes it. I just had that weird feeling that he's not going to finish the game for some reason. I don't know why. But
I can see that happening too. I can see that happening. This team is angry.
Oh, yeah.
This team is very angry, and they're cracking helmets. So, I mean, and they're 2 helmets, 1 game. And they're really angry with this Oregon team. They can say whatever they want, but like somebody spits on you. Like, just think about if you were on the streets and somebody spit on you.
That's fighting, man.
Blood vendetta forever.
Like, and I know IGB said he doesn't take it personal. He's like, it's just the heat of the moment. Trust me, I know where he's from. He taking that personal.
Yeah.
Ryan Day's Beard, shout out to you for the $2 holla. I had to step away for a second. Who has the flu? So somebody's trying to say that Jordan Birch has the flu and is going around the team, and that's why everybody's voice is raspy or whatever.
Right.
But I don't know. I don't really care if they had the flu. That's their problem, not ours.
Hey, in 2020, when we had to play Alabama in the national championship game and we were down 6 starters because of COVID, did anybody feel sorry for us?
Nope.
Nope.
We definitely know Sark didn't feel sorry for us.
No.
And they sure didn't feel sorry for our linebacker.
No, definitely not.
Chuck Borland's still trying to catch Devontae Smith.
Man, that was that Kerry Combs game plan?
Kerry Combs.
God.
That was the most idiotic game plan ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Listen, I definitely want to see in this game, though, like, just think about, like, Caleb Downs coming down full speed and hitting Dylan Gabriel or Jordan Hancock or Cody Simon. Like, they'll break that kid.
Well, if you look,
Frosty Mug, there's a rumor out that you guys have the flu right now. That's what I was hearing. Not just about the Penn State game, that it's still going through the team.
He's had the flu for 3 weeks now.
4, something like that. Yeah, whatever.
If you look at Jim Knowles, man, Knowles has a tendency to overcorrect sometimes. And that first game when we played him, we got 0 pressure on him. I mean, Dylan could have made a sandwich standing back there passing the ball. So I think he's going to bring pressure. He's either going to do it the 4 linemen doing a bunch of stunts, or they're going to be bringing backers in and confusing the heck out of them. But I think they're going to light them up.
I wonder how they start the game, because I'm interested on defense. Would you guys start the game with some stunts and some blitz from the very first snap and try to hit him immediately? Or would you guys play conservatively and like a boxing chess match and just take your time and fill it out and go from there?
No, I think the way to get to Dan Lanning is you get him early and you get him trying to backpedal and think, but you just keep it on him. You know what I'm saying? And you keep him up against the wall, and like he doesn't have time to pull out weird, crazy shit like 12 men on the field and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't have time for that. Like you just keep the pressure on him. I think he goes down.
I think you start with the stunts, and if you can't get pressure that way, then you go to the blitz, because if you're just stunning, you're not giving up a bunch. I mean, when you blitz, you got to get home or you leave yourself open to big plays happening. So I think they'll run some stunts and do some exotic looks just to try to confuse them with some coverages. But if he has to, he'll bring the blitz.
I'm tempering my expectations as far as the stunts and the blitz packages, and here's why. Because Dan Lanning loves the trickiness. He loves the trick plays. He did it last game. And here's an interesting thought. Why would a coach run trick plays against another team if he didn't think that straight up he could win. You know what I'm saying? So part of me, that's the avenue I think it is. I think he, might know he's a little outmatched here as far as skill players go. And, just overall, I know that's going to tick some Duck fans off, but I mean, why else are you going to try crazy stuff and do the 2-point, conversion lineups and only kick an extra point and do the squib? I mean, that squib kick, what if Caleb Down catches that and then we're right there? You know what I mean? Like, so you're going to take those chances. So part of me wonders if we might start off a little slow with that to kind of gauge and see how aggressive Dan Lanning is going to be. But then the other part of me, if I had to choose, I would say, screw it. Let's come out and boxing, swinging. You know what I'm saying? And then if for some reason they're able to beat that, because, we're so full of talent, skill, and experience that I don't know how much scheming needs to be done to prevent the trick plays, because we have such experienced players and skilled players that they're going to sniff that out on their own. You're not going to really need to do much, like Downs and Ransom, all of them. They're senior players. They know what's going on. They can sniff that out, especially Downs and Latham. With as much as this, I think the biggest thing that has changed on defense since the Oregon game, if I had to pick one thing, is communication. I think the communication from the coaches to the players to the rest of the players has just been absolute top notch. I think that's why Jim Knowles said they're now the fastest calling defensive play calling unit in the nation. And I think that is what has changed more than anything else. So I'm kind of curious to see how much of those stunts and blitz packages we use, because of that fact right there, that one little tiny play, and they do have the playmakers to turn a 5-yard pass into a touchdown. I mean, they do. They have the speed to do it. So you just don't know which way it's going to go, but we'll see.
No, I think too, like Oregon, we talked about it before the first Oregon game, that there was one path for Oregon to win, and they took it. They got the bounces. They had crazy stuff happen, and literally that was the one path they had to win. You can't tell me the stars are going to align magically this time on a neutral field, and that path is going to open up again, because I still think that's the only path that they have to win. It's like Ohio State just plays the worst game possible. They get cooked. Oregon still had to have plays like the trick plays and the kick to go their way to win by 1 point. There's no way that happens again. It's just not the way the universe works.
That speed's not going to catch them off guard either. They'll be ready for it. I mean, you had two or three big plays that really got them, along with those trick plays that kind of cooked them for the most part. That's why they won the game. So Burke will be ready, and they'll definitely give the help over the top. So we're not going to they won't get caught with their pants down this time.
Yeah. I'm not blitzing the first play of the game. They're definitely going to probably run the ball. They're either going to run the ball or they play action going down the field on the very first snap if they get the ball first. So I'm not gonna blitz the first play, but maybe second down, I'm bringing some heat just to let them know, like, it's real over here. We're coming for you. But that's me personally. I'm more of the being aggressive, lean on the aggressive side. Maybe that's just my background from the military and everything else. But violence to action.
I would rather go down swinging and being aggressive than sitting back and let someone pick me apart and lose that way. So if I just want them to come out, be aggressive on offense like they did last game, and try to get to a fast start. If we can jump on them right away, I think, 2 or 3 stops and get a couple scores, and it'll be over.
So I want to get everybody's final thoughts. If you're watching this, we appreciate you watching. Do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that share button, comment in the comment section. It helps with the algorithm, so that way we could get out to more people and more people could see the show. This is a fan channel ran by fans. So if you would like to join us on the show, just shoot us an email at thebuckeyeboys with 3 Z's at gmail.com so we could bring you on. We love interacting with you guys. And me and Dev got an early flight in the morning on our way to the Rose Bowl, going to sunny Cali. It's going to be awesome. We're meeting Brad out there. We're meeting Duke out there. We're going to meet up with Dougzilla most likely. I think
Nice.
we're meeting up with Nevada and Funky Buck. So, like, it's going to be a good experience. I'm bringing my camcorder. We're going to do some lives out there. I'm going to pack up some of my equipment. It's going to be a good time. So, just have some prayers for us as we travel. And Tony, you got any last words, Sean?
I'm just going to tell people, also go to BuckeyeBoyz.com. All our social media stuff's there. That's where you can order shirts. You go to the merchandise tab. They're all there. You know what I'm saying? And I find the pieces not an option stuff that we have on social media, share it with everybody, let Oregon know. And I want a good game. I want you guys to have fun. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm pretty jealous you guys are going. And I think I think this feeling continues when we talk next week. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. What about you,
Man.
Sean?
Less than 2 days, man. It feels like Christmas Eve again. You know what I'm saying? Just waiting for the game. It feels like Christmas all over again. So I hope you guys have a great time. You know what I told you. If that happens, you know what you need to do, Mello. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully that doesn't happen. So hopefully that doesn't happen. You guys have fun and you stay out of trouble and bring us home a W, man. Bring us home a W.
I might get pepper sprayed for running on the field, though.
But
it won't be my first time, though.
Well, I told my family make sure they're watching because just before halftime, I'm running across the field naked.
He's streaking, just like old school, Sean. Then we just talk about old school. He's streaking through the quads.
Old Devin the Tank over there.
I brought extra cash in my wallet for bond. I'm good. I'm ready.
We'll start collecting super chats for bond money now.
You know how much? You know how many more people watch Buckeye Boyz if they know that I ran across the field naked during the
our street cred goes way up.
Oh, it's worth it.
We're gonna spray paint Buckeye Boyz on his back and his front.
Like
free marketing.
Should have had a flag planted.
He's gonna go straight to the first camera and go, OH. Watch the Buckeye Boyz.
Come running away, just BBZ on his butt. Like, yeah.
As he's getting tased.
No, we can't let him get tased. I have to run interference, man. Yeah. I got to set a screen on one of these cops.
You got to block downfield, Mello. Got to block downfield.
Yes, sir.
Cut him.
So with that being said, go Bucks. OH.
I-O.